Good morning, everybody. Hope all of you are safe at your home and enjoying the text. Let's discuss general pharmacology. Listen, my dear, disease is a part of society, disease is a part of human life, and disease is a part of human civilization. When we are talking about a disease, we must talk about a drug. Listen, my dear, drug, by definition, drugs are not only intended to cure any pathological state or any disease, it also aims to prevent the disease, and drugs are also helpful for the diagnosis of a particular disease. That is according to WHO, World Health Organization, the exact definition of the drug, which is not only merely intended for cure but also for prevention and to diagnose a particular problem. Let's give an examples of diagnosis substance. All of you know you are taking the drug for the purpose of cure. All of you know you are taking a drug for the purpose of prevention. For example, now, world is trying to make preventive vaccines for corona. That vaccine will treat for the prevention of corona. Then I am giving another common example, tetanus toxoid, TT, common TT. When you are having certain type of cough, you are taking TT. That is for preventive purpose. Then what is diagnosis purpose? It is starting. Still I am giving you examples. Phentolamine is a drug. That phentolamine drug is given for the diagnosis purpose of pheochromocytoma. Pheochromocytoma, a particular type of tumor, exists due to overactivity of adrenal medulla, hypersecretion of adrenaline. From adrenal medulla, it is the tumor of adrenal medulla. In that case, phentolamine is the drug which intended to diagnosis of that particular problem. Previously, India was the hub for herbal medicines. Means before some year, before 50 years, before hundreds of years, only herbal medicines are there. Medicines from crude drugs, from natural sources are there. Slowly science develop and new drugs are from synthetic or chemical sources discovered, which helpful for mankind, and this drug has few side effects also. In general, your pharmacology can be studied under two headings. One is pharmacokinetic, other is pharmacodynamic. Here it is pharmacokinetic and another is pharmacodynamic. Let's discuss about pharmacokinetic. What do you mean by pharmacokinetic? Pharmacokinetic means what the body does to the drug. Means response of the body towards the drug or movement of the drug throughout the body. Means when you are taking a drug orally, it goes to your gastrointestinal tract, then to systemic circulation, then to other part, then to a part where it metabolized, then finally it excretes. Means the round movement of the drug throughout the body is pharmacokinetic, or what the body does to the drug, that is known as pharmacokinetic, which can be studied under four headings: absorption, distribution, metabolism and excretion. The four headings. ADME. It is known as ADME. A for absorption, D for distribution, M for metabolism, and E for excretion of the drug. The process is a sequential process. First absorption takes, then distribution, then metabolism, then excretion. Then what do you mean by absorption? Absorption means the movement of the body from site of administration to systemic circulation. That is absorption. So, to act a drug, it needs good absorption. Then another term associated with absorption is bioavailability. The rate and extent of drug absorption is known as bioavailability, or the fraction of drug which reaches to systemic circulation is known as bioavailability. That means the drug need to reach systemic circulation and make it concentration or systemic circulation, high concentration, good concentration or peak concentration, then only the drug can act. If you are taking a drug by any means, it cannot move to systemic circulation or very poorly move to systemic circulation, that means the drug does not work. So bioavailability is very much important in concern to drug absorption and drug action. See, I am giving a graph. This is suppose time, and this is plasma concentration of the drug. X-axis and Y-axis. X-axis time, Y-axis plasma concentration. And this range is known as therapeutic range. Therapeutic range. Okay, see, I am giving 3 drugs. It is A drug, it is B drug, and it is C drug. Among A and B and C, see, this drug A does not reach the therapeutic range. Very poor bioavailability. Action fix है नहीं होगा. This drug B apparently reaches the point of therapeutic range, and this drug C reaches therapeutic range up to therapeutic range, means having good bioavailability. That means the drug need to reach systemic circulation properly and maintain concentration of systemic circulation, which is known as plasma concentration. Concentration of the drug in plasma, that must be done, then the drug is works. Okay, then here some factors that responsible for good absorption is that aqueous solubility. It is very important for oral drug. If you are taking oral drug, the drug must have aqueous solubility. The drugs are designed in that manner. Then another concentrations. Okay, then the most important thing is that area of the observing surface. Yes, area of the observing surface. It is immense importance. If the area of observing surface is more, the absorption is good, the bioavailability is good, ultimately the action of the drug is good. Take an example of oral drug, stomach and intestine. In between stomach and intestine, the surface area of intestine is much more. That's why the absorption of drug is in intestine is very good. Another term associated with this, I am telling you, fast pass metabolism. The term is fast pass metabolism. See, metabolism is a process in movement of the drug in pharmacokinetic process. But that process comes in third stage, 3. This stage, first absorption, then distribution, then metabolism. Then what is the definition? Fast pass metabolism. Fast pass metabolism. Immediate metabolism. Meaning before coming to third step, drug get metabolized from here. That is known as fast pass metabolism. Let me clear it. See, stomach. Suppose it is the stomach. Here is the drug. It is a tablet or anything. It's a drug. Oral drug, from here it need to go to here. It is SC, systemic circulation. मैंने पहले भी बताया, drug need to go to systemic circulation for work, where it maintain plasma concentration. Any oral drug you are taking, tablet, capsule, etc. from stomach, it moves to systemic circulation. Then after systemic circulation, another process called distribution, then metabolism. But some drug, few drug, what they do? Instead of going to systemic circulation, they move here. Means they move to liver via portal vein. Portal vein, P-O-R-T-A-L, portal vein, through portal circulation. Drug, instead of going to systemic circulation from stomach, moves to liver through portal vein via portal circulation, where it get metabolized. Because liver is the storehouse of enzyme. So after initial absorption, after the process of absorption, instantly drugs move to liver through portal vein and get metabolized and get altered. Then there is no good action, means there is no good bioavailability of the drug due to fast pass metabolism. So those drugs which undergo fast pass metabolism, their oral dose is not encouraged. If you give oral dose, then from here they move to liver and undergo fast pass metabolism. So one drug is penicillin. Its oral dose is not effective due to rapid fast pass metabolism or high fast pass metabolism. So it needs to make the drug in parenteral form, direct injected form. So stomach bypass and portal vein, movement of portal vein bypass, the drug may act. It is one term. Then comes to the term distribution, which is important and second step. Drug distribution is the second step. Okay, in distribution, okay, through the passage of blood, through the circulation process, drugs distributed and drugs redistributed. Okay, in concern to that distribution, there are two junctions. One is tight junction, other is leaky junction. See, it is a tight junction. There is no intracellular post-tight junction. Only lipid soluble drug can enter because these membranes, these capillary membranes are required and lipid soluble drug dissolve and cross. Tight junction. Another junction is leaky junction. In leaky junction, what happens? There is intracellular pores. Intracellular pores. Aqueous soluble drug or water soluble drug, they pass through intracellular pores. But aqueous soluble drug, they cannot pass through that junction. That is tight junction. Okay, another term associated with drug distribution is plasma protein binding, which is very much important. Drug need to bind to plasma protein tightly. Okay, in that concern there are two concepts. One is bound drug, other is free drug. The fraction which bound to plasma protein, it is known as bound drug. The fraction which bounds to which free, it is known as free drug. For example, from a drug 20 mg, 10 mg is bound to plasma protein, it is bound drug. Another 10 mg is free, that is free drug. Okay, then there are two types of plasma protein. One is albumin, another is alpha 1 glycoprotein. First is albumin, another is alpha 1 glycoprotein. Okay, so in general there are two categories of drug: acidic drug and basic drug. Okay, acidic drugs are bound to albumin, acidic drug, and all basic drugs are bound to alpha 1 glycoprotein. Means the drug which nature is acidic, they must bound to albumin, and the drug which nature is basic, they must bound to alpha 1 glycoprotein. Here some concepts of some barriers are there: placental barrier, blood-brain barrier, blood CSF barrier. Okay, all drugs, they cannot cross placental barrier or some blood-brain barrier or blood CSF barrier. The nature of the drug, the quality of the drug to cross that barrier is that they should be lipid soluble, because in that area you will find a tight junction. Only certain lipid soluble drug can pass through that barrier. Then comes to the important point, that is metabolism. In short, I am telling you metabolism. Metabolism means chemical alteration of the drug or biotransformation of the drug. Here, okay, कहाँ थे हम? Metabolism पर. Metabolism generally means chemical alteration of the drug in body, means biotransformation of the body. In this phase, drug get detoxified. Drug changes its one chemical orientation to another. It is generally comes in two phases, phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 comes oxidation, reduction, hydrolysis, cyclization, decyclization. Phase 2 undergoes all combined reactions or conjugate reaction: methylation, acetylation, glycine conjugation, glutathione conjugation, and glucuronidation or conjugation with glucuronic acid. Glucuronic acid, which derived from glucose present in the body, maximum drug, almost 70% of the drug, they undergoes glucuronidation. They combine with glucuronic acid and metabolize. Okay, few drugs undergoes phase 1 metabolism, few drug undergoes phase 2 metabolism, which is the important steps. Then the last step is excretion. After completing the action, drug metabolized, then after that drug needs to excrete from the body or excrete from the systems. Generally, maximum drug, they follow urinary excretory systems, means through urine they excrete. Few drugs, they excrete through bile, they excrete through breast milk, they excrete through fecal matter, and they excrete through hair also. But maximum drug, they follow urinary excretion to excrete from the body or system, which bears the formula glomerular filtration plus tubular secretion minus tubular reabsorption. Okay? Okay, today let's discuss about pharmacodynamic. The next step, pharmacokinetic, then pharmacodynamic. In general, by definition, pharmacodynamic means what the drug does to the body. Remember, what the drug does to the body means the action of the drug in the body, the principle of action, the mechanism of action, etc., etc. We are taking a drug to fulfill certain purpose. That means when we are taking a drug, what type of pathological condition is clear and how it clear, that comes under your pharmacodynamic. Okay, let's discuss one by one the principle of drug action. Under principles, it is stimulation, depression, replacement, irritation, and cytotoxic actions. So drug generally work by the virtue of this principle. First is stimulation. Stimulation means generally selective enhancement of any system or selective enhancement, increase of any system, that is stimulation. Give an example, CNS stimulant. Okay? Central nervous system stimulant. These drugs are stimulate CNS when the CNS is depressed due to certain pathological conditions. Okay? Example is caffeine. Example is amphetamine, the best example. Amphetamine is a good CNS stimulant. Generally what happened, many times this drug has been illegally used by athletes. So there is a test, the name of the test is dope test. In dope test, urine sample are being collected and there amphetamine is detected. Athletes are not allowed to take amphetamine before entering to the race because that increase the activity. It is a good CNS stimulant. Then next is CNS depression. Stimulation, the next point is depression under principle of drug action. Depression means selective depression of any system. It is opposite of stimulation. Many times what happen, the particular system like central nervous system it stimulates or any system it enhance activity. Due to enhanced activity, body observe a pathological state. To control it, it need to decrease the enhanced activity. That is comes under depression. The good example is CNS depression. CNS depression are the drug which depress CNS. Sedative and hypnotic drugs. When body is in a condition of hyper-excitatory activity, that time it is imbalance in sedations. Neither ठीक से प्रभाव नहीं. Insomnia, sleeplessness. To check this, sedative drugs are given. Sedative drugs suppress or depress the system, make the subject calm and quiet. Okay, it is a principle of drug action. Then next principle of drug action is irritation. What a term, irritation. Yes, irritation is a principle of drug actions. Give an examples of bitter. Bitter irritate and produce high amount of saliva or increase secretion of saliva, and saliva is associated with digestion. It is a principle. Means saliva secretion is produced due to irritation produced by bitter irritate to increase secretion of saliva, and saliva participate in digestion. If it is a case of indigestion, you take bitter and digestion clear. That is a principle of drug action. The next is your replacement. You might have seen the cricket. If one batsman is injured, at that place another batsman is substituted, that is replaced. Exactly. In human physiology, if a biochemical entity is deficient, we will substitute from outside. Best example is insulin in diabetes mellitus. In case of diabetes, type 1 diabetes, insulin dependent diabetes mellitus, there is no insulin. Insulin is exogenously given. That is the best example of replacement. Many times hormones are participating in replacement therapies if that hormone is deficient in body. Next is your cytotoxic action. Yes, you might have astonished. Cytotoxic action, how a principle of drug action? Yes, cytotoxic action means cell toxic. A substance is toxic to cell. Yes. In case of cancer chemotherapy, cancer exists due to hyperproliferation of cell. At that time, it is intended to destroy the cell. How? By giving a drug which is toxic to that cell. That is cytotoxic action. Anti-cancer drug. The examples are anti-cancer drug. Okay? These are the principle of drug action. After that, I will discuss about the mechanism of drug action. ड्रग फॉलो which mechanism, क्या करता है वो, कैसे जादू टोना करके कुछ भी सिस्टम को अच्छा कर देता है. यस, ड्रग्स फॉलो सर्टेन मैकेनिज्म. स्मॉल मैकेनिज्म इज ड्रग एक्शंस थ्रू एंजाइम्स. वी नो एंजाइम्स आर वाइटल एजेंट इन बॉडी व्हिच not only catalyze but also anabolic activity, catabolic and anabolic activity. That many biochemical and synthetic reaction, they are carried out in the presence of enzyme. Just like if due to certain enzyme activation or inactivation, a particular problem is occur, that is cured by that enzyme stimulation or enzyme inhibition. It is enzyme, structure of enzyme, suppose it is an enzyme and it is substrate. For a particular enzyme, a particular substrate is there. Substrate may be drug. Another principle of drug action, few drugs follow that action, is drug action through ion channel. Ion channel C. A very good thing, that is ion channel. A very beautiful principle of drug action, ion channel. Here is the schematic diagram. These are biological membrane. Schematically, these are biological membrane. इस biological membrane के ऊपर एक ion channel है. The existed ion channel. The ion channels may be of variety names. Sometimes it is sodium channel, sometimes it is potassium channel, sometimes it is chloride channel. Take an example. It is an ion channel. How? It is a mechanism of drug action. Let me to explain it. Suppose it is a sodium channel. In many pathological situations, just like epilepsy, there is hyperexcitation due to high firing of action potential due to sodium ion. Mean, in case of epilepsy, the pathological thing behind epilepsy is high opening of sodium channel. Due to rapid opening of sodium channel, high efflux of sodium ion, high action potential generation, and excitatory activity, uncontrolled excitatory activity, which precipitate in the form of different kind of epilepsy. See, in that case, what we need? We have to close the sodium channel. Suppose sodium firing is high here, we have to close the channel by giving a drug. So, by closing the channel, by applying a drug, the problem is solved. The extra sodium ion cannot enter. That is a type of drug action. Another example I am giving. Suppose it is a chloride channel. Okay. Suppose it is a chloride channel. What happened? Chloride ion. It is chloride channels. Chloride ions. In case of insomnia, sleeplessness, what happened? Drugs are given to cure that problem. Serotonin hypnotic drug. What the drug? The type of drug does? They stimulate to open chloride channel for the influx of chloride ion by GABA, gamma aminobutyric acid, GABA mediated. In that case, GABA mediated chloride channel opening is there. When chloride channel open, chloride ion are efflux and the cell get hyperpolarized, difficult to depolarize, and sedation come. See, this type of operation cures a particular pathological situation. So, ion channel is one of the important mechanism in case of drug action. Okay. Okay. So, let's see another mechanism or discuss another mechanism of drug action. Drug action through receptor. The term receptor is a very useful term which is highly associated with drug action. Many drugs, they prefer to act through receptors. They don't act through enzyme, they don't act through ion channel. They exclusively combine with receptor and show its effects. In general, receptors are macromolecules. They are protein in nature. Drugs has affinity to bind towards receptor. This is drug, this is receptor. The drugs moves rapidly to bind with that receptor. This is known as affinity. Drugs bind with receptor, and after binding with receptor, it makes a complex, and that complex elicit certain biological response. See, this is drug plus receptor makes a complex. The complex is DR complex, drug receptor complex, and this complex elicits or give rise to a biological response. Okay, biological response means a response which cure a pathological state. So, drug needs to bind with receptor and elicit certain function. If drug is there, it due to any reason it does not bind with receptor, then no action. So, it is mandatory for drug which principle is act through receptor. It should bind with receptor, making a complex, and only they will elicit certain functions. I am giving an simple examples. What is the eligibility for a girl to wear a earring? Ear should be there and ring should be there. If there is no ear, she cannot use earring. If there is no ring, she cannot use earring. Just like that. To give a action, it is necessary there presents a drug, there presents a receptor, so that we elicit a biological response. Suppose we intended to stop the action of the drug, even the drug entered to your physiology, we have to block the receptor or antagonize the receptor. Okay? Thank you.